The 6-3 vote fell along party lines in favor of raising the minimum wage in San Diego to $11.50 an hour by 2017. Here to talk about what happens next and the possible short and long-term impact of the decision is economist Eric Bruvold, president of National University System Institute for Policy Research. Welcome back.
Good to be back.
Now, Eric, Mayor Faulkner opposes this plan. He says it'll result in job loss and hiring. Is there any evidence of those sort of fallouts from other cities that have already enacted minimum wage raises?
So minimum wage has been one of the subjects that's probably been studied the most ever. And so the studies really suggest that the impacts don't fall either way, that there's not too much job loss that's associated with it, and that the spending power that's given to lower wage employees sort of gets sucked up and discounted by increased prices as they reverberate through the economy.
So with that in mind, which industries might be impacted first if this ordinance goes into effect on January 1st?
Sure. So on the individual business levels, there probably will be some impacts, and that'll be felt in retail, hospitality, and some service businesses like home health care aides or, for example, on the public sector side, schoolyard monitors or crossing guards.
Could this impact other employees, let's say, that aren't making minimum wage? I'm thinking of mid-level employees.
Sure. So the way that businesses often try and accompany this is sort of three ways. One, productivity gains, and that's kind of the best case scenario. Secondly, increasing prices. But in some of these industries, they compete against global competitors, Amazon, eBay, Craigslist. And so the third way is to cut benefits. And so that's going to impact not only low-wage workers, but mid-level workers, as free parking or free food or discounts are done away with.
And part of this plan, speaking of benefits, is 5 sick days a year. What are the pros and cons of offering employees sick days?
So the proponents will say that there's health benefits, that obviously, sometimes some industries just don't want sick people to come in. And so this
food
way,
servers, for example.
Food servers or people that work around other folks. And so by paying people for a sick day, they're able to keep people from making other people sick. On the flip side is that for very small businesses, oftentimes that's very disruptive, as they have to pay wages and then find a second or third or fourth person to come in and do the work. And so there can be disruptions that way, sort of at the very small enterprise levels on the negative side.
When you're saying small, like less than 5 people or something.
3, 4 people that, hire somebody part-time to staff the business during the evening hours. That person goes out sick, you have to pay those wages, and you have to find that replacement worker to come in for him.
The mayor can veto this minimum wage proposal. If he does, how does this play out? What are some of the options?
So the mayor has a particular amount of time, I want to say it's 2-3 weeks, to look at the ordinance and send it back to veto. Then the council has a period of time where they have to go ahead and take time to take another action, a 6-3 vote, so repeat the vote from last night, and that would override the mayor's veto. And then there's also a provision in the city charter so that a third party, an outside group, can collect signatures. I want to say it's on the order of 40, 50,000 signatures from San Diego voters, registered voters, and to put it on the ballot.
Do you think it's a good idea to put it on the ballot?
Well, I think that, I'm not necessarily now, I'm not sure I'm a great idea on the referendum process, but I'm kind of a big believer that when you have controversial policies, there's something good about going and asking the people for it. It builds consensus, it has a dialogue, it includes more people in that process, and so I'm a big believer in that sort of participatory democracy.
Do you think it was a good move to approve it now in the makeup of the city council?
I leave that for other people that opine upon the politics of the matter. I will say that there is some concern about the difference that we're going to create between San Diego and bordering cities. We did some analysis. About 250,000 people in San Diego live within a mile of a border of another city in our county, here in the city of San Diego. About 50,000 workers work within a mile of an opposing district. And so you'll have this weird situation where in Rancho Bernardo you have one wage, half a mile down the hill in the city of Poway you have a lower minimum wage, and businesses and consumers may make some choices that don't work to the city's benefit because of that wage differential that you have.
And ultimately, we're talking about $1.50 more between the state minimum pay when it gets to that level and ours. Is that really significant?
Well, $1.50 now. Remember, we've also got an inflation adjuster, and we've got a sick day requirement that's going to be more generous than the state. And again, if we look at places where we have this bordering difference, it averages about a 32-cent difference, not $1.50. And so we're in uncharted water here. It will be interesting to see how San Diegan businesses and San Diego consumers respond to that difference.
All right, economist Eric Brewald, thank you so much.
You're welcome.